I think it was on Bangla.
Yeah, the other button got clicked. That's what happened. Okay.
Start again. Just to
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
sum up the press conference.
Okay, so turns out we that was my mistake, that we went live on the wrong channel. But to sum up the Ajit Agarkar PC, let me start off by reading out the team for you guys. It's Shubman Gill who's the captain, Yashashvi Jaiswal, KL Rahul, Sai Sudarshan, Devdutt Padikkal, Dhruv Jurel, Ravindra Jadeja, Washington Sundar, Jasprit Bumrah, Aksar Patel, Nitish Kumar Reddy, Mohammad Siraj, Prasidh Krishna, Kuldeep Yadav, N. Jagadishan. And that's it. That's your squad. That's your 15-member squad. First reaction?
I think it is much along expected lines. I think three or four news points as far as I'm concerned. Three or four news points. One is he was pretty forthright about Karun Nair, that Karun did not do justice to the opportunities that he was given in England. I think he has a fair point there. I do think Ajit has a fair point that Karun did get multiple starts in England, was not able to convert. They expected a bit more from Karun Nair. That did not happen, and that was pretty disappointing as far as uh, that's the reason why Karun kind of missed out. The second news point was Abhimanyu Ishwaran. I think it's the end of the road for Ishwaran. I actually think it's the end of the road for Ishwaran. I'm disappointed, or anybody will be.
That's an unfortunate end.
It is unfair. I mean, look, we cannot say end because in sport it's never say never,
Yeah.
and you cannot say for anybody that it's done or whatever it is
Yeah.
like that. But the fact that he's no longer part of the squad, he said he doesn't need a third opener. But the fact of the matter is, he's got a Narayan Jagadishan who's a second wicket keeper. Now the question is very simple: if you can fly in a third opener, you can also fly in a second wicket keeper.
Yeah.
So at home, it takes 2 hours to fly from any part of India to another. And where are the test matches being held? The test matches are being held in Delhi. The test matches are being held in Ahmedabad. It will not take more than 2 hours to fly someone to either Delhi or to Ahmedabad. So when you think about of these things, you realize that Narayan Jagadishan's selection means Karuna, this one, Abhimanyu Ishwaran is now a done deal. From 2021, he was part of the team. 14, 15 other players have played Test cricket ahead of him, and that's if you are Abhimanyu Ishwaran, you will feel that it is a hard call. It is a very hard call as far as Ishwaran is concerned. What that means, will he ever get an opportunity? I don't know. Is it unfair on Karun? Look, they've preferred Devdutt. They've got Devdutt, but you also must remember that Karun scored runs in rather difficult circumstances. Now, you cannot judge one player on home performances and one player on away. Devdutt, I understand. Devdutt has done well recently. But when Devdutt got his opportunity in Australia, he did not do too well either. But to be just to Ajit, I think in this case Karun got four opportunities in England back to back. So it's not as if Karun did not get opportunities. Out of the five tests, he got four, and of the four, if he scored 100, if he did score 100 in the Oval Test, I think he would have sealed the deal.
Yeah.
That Oval innings could have been his real deal. I mean, Karun Nair getting 100 in Oval would have closed out the matter as far as Karun Nair is concerned. Sadly for him, he missed out. Will he be able to make a comeback? I really doubt it, Gargi. I think
No,
Karun Nair, Shardul Thakur, Abhimanyu Ishwaran. I think it's the end of these three fellows.
Or let's say it's next to
very difficult.
impossible for them to come back. See, when it comes to Karun Nair, I think with the kind of experience that he brings with the
Okay, let me answer this.
Yeah.
Notwithstanding the PC was about West Indies, you said I would ask. I did say to the Indian media manager that our questions on Rohit and Virat allowed, and will you take them? I was requested that this is a press conference clearly on West Indies, so kindly refrain. All right, thank you, welcome. So we were told and very clearly that this is a press conference, and not once but multiple times we've had a discussion on this, that let's restrict our questions to the West Indies series. It was evidently clear, and that's the point. I don't chicken out from anything. I don't care. But when there is a decorum needs to be maintained and discipline needs to be maintained, and it was mentioned that this is a West Indies press conference, that's discipline, right? That's what you need to follow. But coming back, if I was Ishwaran, I would feel very hard done. for 4 years. He was
For,
part of the team for
yeah,
4 years to not get an opportunity for a single test match when a Padikal played a test.
15 matches
When
across 15 matches.
a lot of people went ahead and played test matches ahead of him. So if you are Ishwaran, I when I try to see it, I do understand that Shubman Gill is a better player. Yashasvi Jaiswal is a better player. I do get that.
And I've done more.
I do get that. But having said that, if you've taken a player who has been part of your squad for 4 years and he has not been given one opportunity, when you've dropped him without being given an opportunity, and frankly, this whole thing about Cookie will fly him, then it's a case of double standards because then that applies for Narayan Jagadishan also. You did not need a Narayan Jagadishan. This is much like Shreya Shayer's inclusion in this one, right? So these are different
Yeah.
circumstances.
Well, I mean, what I'm trying to understand is how Narayan Jagdishan was fast tracked ahead of Abhimanyu Isswaran. I
No,
mean,
I don't think he has been.
not fast tracked, but he gets picked in the squad ahead of Abhimanyu Isswaran. Will he, sort of turn into another player that is always traveling with the team but never gets a game? That's another dimension to it. But at the same time, if you're telling me that Abhimanyu Isswaran in the past 15 matches has been with the Indian team and has not found once, an opportunity and then gets dropped, it feels bad. It feels unfair. And if I was an Abhimanyu Isswaran, I would feel incredibly hurt by this. But also at the same time, you understand why that is happening because, like Ajit Agarkar said, in the test squad, everyone is basically picking themselves, and at the end of the day, there are only a couple of spots left maximum for new players to come in, and that is understandable because if you look at the opening pair, Yashasvi Jaiswal, KL Rahul haven't done anything bad to get dropped.
No, I get that. I get that.
You
I mean,
get
it's
that, but
it's not
but you
not
have
as if
to.
about doing
I
people
know,
bad or
I
good.
know.
It is
Another super chat here.
what is bad or good about this? There's no bad or good. The fact is,
What is this? Zero talking points from this PC Nation wants to know update on Virat in ODIs. He deserved as he's. They made it very clear that this press conference was about the West Indies series. So, if they
he
were
even
not,
answered a
yeah,
question that
Rohit
on a
Virat,
different question, he answered that we've not even thought about the 50 overs.
yeah.
On the Shreya Iyer question, when he said that we've not even thought about the 50 overs. So that was the answer as far as you are concerned when it comes to the 50 over format. This was not a 50 over format press conference. This was clearly restricted to the West Indies series, and that's what it was. So let's be clear on that. I mean, it is not as if what the nation wants to know, or you want to know, or I want to know. They had a purpose in this
Yeah, press
press
conference.
conference. No, no, nothing.
Okay. Yeah, and there was this another question regarding Virat and Rohit, but it was about the Test series again. That I think it was Rohit who asked this question that this team is in transition, still still trying to fill the gaps that Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli have left behind, and Ajit Agarkar agreed that these are huge shoes to fill. He also added the name of Ravichandran Ashwin and said that these three are boys that are still there in the squad, but again, it's all about the future. And he spoke about continuity, giving people long ropes, giving players enough chances to build their career, to build their position, uh, to build their performances at a certain position, at the position that they're given. We're seeing that in another format, yes, but we're also seeing that happen with Sanju Samson as well.
Please tell the team, announce the team once, and then I'll answer all
ये
the
देखो,
questions.
it's नीचे चल रहा है.
Acha, okay.
It's playing at the bottom.
Does it make any sense to make Jadeja vice captain? It's
Absolutely.
a stopgap. It's a stopgap, and he made that very clear that it is a stopgap, and he's been rewarded for his consistency, and why not? Ravindra Jadeja has been one of the stellar performers, and he's been asked to vice captain this series on home soil. So just reward for one of the stellar effort, stalwarts of Indian Test team. At the same time, Ajit was very clear that Rishabh is very close to regaining full fitness, and it is Rishabh. It is Rishabh who's the vice captain, and this is a stopgap solution. I thought he made it amply clear, and there is no question or no debate for any misunderstanding there.
Pant is injured still.
Pant is injured. Pant is absolutely injured, but he is very close to regaining full fitness. And Ajit pretty much said that he's available or will be available for
Ahead
the
of
South
South
Africa.
Africa series. Dhanush is saying, will Kuldeep at least be playing? Will be in the
Yes,
playing
100%.
eleven?
If you ask me,
Home
that's not
conditions,
Ajit's call, by the way.
100%.
That's not Ajit's call.
That's
That's the
captain
call
and
of the
coach.
captain and the coach. But at home against West Indies, not to see Kuldeep Yadav will be a huge surprise. Let's put it that way. I do think Kuldeep will 100% play, and there's no reason. There's no reason for Kuldeep not to play.
Yeah. Now, he also spoke about Ishan Kishan. I think we haven't spoken about that. Ishan Kishan obviously was asked. He just said, it was simple that he's not fit. He was
No, he's
also
playing.
asked.
No, he's playing now.
He wasn't
He
fit
said
when the India A squad
he
was
said he's part of the Irani, and he also said that he needs to play a bit more cricket.
and show
So,
performances
so
to get back in
Jagadishan
form.
ahead of Ishan. Yeah, that was the question, Suman. That Jagadishan was part of the last test, if you remember, in England. He had been flown in. He had been flown in, and he was part of the last test. And recently, he has done pretty decently. Got a 40, got a 60. So Ajit actually answered that. Whether or not it's a convincing answer or not is obviously on you to judge or gauge. But he did answer that question that Jagadishan was part of the Indian team in England at that point in time, and that's what the continuity is about. But if you ask me, Karun Nair is one news point that they expected more. Ravindra Jadeja, the second news point that he's been made vice captain and a temporary solution for Rishabh Pant. I thought it was pretty okay. Third, Shreya Iyer. He basically said he wants Shreya Iyer to play. I thought that was update on Virat and beyond.
This was
This
only
was
a West
Shivangi,
Indies.
as I said. I mean, I've said this already 2 or 3 times on the show. It was made very clear. It was made very clear that this is a press conference only on the West Indies series, and no more. In fact, he answered to a Shreya Iyer question that they've not even thought about the 50 over team. What I thought was a kind of critical answer on Shreyash was he said let him at least play. So that kind of said that obviously there's no leadership role or anything. He said he was captain of India and let him captain this one, but more than captaincy, let him at least play. So that was the kind of thing on Shreya Iyer that this guy needs to at least play. So that's what it was. Akshar Patel's comeback is a given in home
100%. Yeah.
conditions. He was not there in the England series. I think very, very fair selection. Akshar Patel, every time he has played on in Indian soil, in Indian conditions, has done extremely well.
Yeah.
So there is no debate on that. Devdutt Padikkal picked ahead. That's the another one. I mean, Devdutt Padikkal selection, does it kind of raise eyebrows? I know Shomik had done a story. We had done a story on
Picked
that.
ahead of whom?
On ahead of somebody like a Rajat Patidar, somebody like a
Yeah,
Abhimanyu
yeah,
Ishwaran.
yeah.
Multiple candidates there for that Devdutt Padikkal spot. How do you see Devdutt Padikkal selection? Is a very fair and valid question.
Absolutely. Um,
Who asked that question? Do you agree 2-0 test versus West Indies? South Africa test series would be interesting. I do agree. I absolutely agree. Hope we get good sporting surfaces. Spitbunk wickets in the home series, no 2-3 day matches. I think that was a mistake. I think preparing ranked turners allows middle level spinners of other teams like an Ajaz Patel and people to come into play and make a difference. I think India made a mistake last year by preparing ranked turners. I think we have learned our lesson. There have been multiple other cases also in the past where India has made this mistake of picking or preparing a ranked turner, and we have paid the price for that. I don't think India will make the same mistake again. Devdutt ahead of Sai Sudarshan? No, not at all. Sai Sudarshan, he more or less made it very, very clear that Sai Sudarshan is your designated number 3, and Sai Sudarshan will be persisted with. So there's no question.
yeah. Super chats. Um, down with
Down with media manager's instructions, you should have asked about Roko anyways. If we always go by disclaimer riddle PCs, BCCI will always control the narrative. There is no narrative here. What is the narrative? They're announcing a fair team for the West Indies. That's all. What is the narrative? I think Rohit and Virat will play. I've said this multiple times. What is the narrative that BCCI is trying to control? BCCI has said no narrative. So let us not impute motive. I don't think BCCI has done anything to set any kind of narrative as far as Rohit and Virat. In fact, he was extremely respectful of Rohit and Virat and made that point about how big shoes they are. As far as I'm concerned, look, when I'm being requested, and it was an earnest request that we are doing a press conference on the West Indies series. That's it, bro.
Okay. Um, any more questions about this? Shivangi is saying, sure, but what your sources say, please let us know. I think related to Virat. Uh, okay. Could you please provide a bit more detail on the Sai Sudarshan's situation? I could not get it. No, basically, there's no situation here. He basically spoke about that they're seeing a lot of potential in him and want him to do well. And
What is the question?
could you explain the Sai Sudarshan situation?
I think Sai is your designated number,
Number
three,
three.
and,
Yeah.
and he has been given a clear mandate. In fact, Sai Sudarshan will be given a long road, is what I've clearly understood from the press conference, and that's what it is. I think that's pretty much evident that Sai Sudarshan is your designated number three and will play.
Yeah.
And I don't have a problem with that. Sources say, please let us know. Sources. Look, I've said this to you, Shivangi. I will be very, very surprised if Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma are not part of the Australia tour. I will be very, very, very surprised. I've said this a million times already, and I'm saying this to you. Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli. Virat Kohli more, I see long term. He does have the game, does have the fitness, does have the wherewithal, does have the ability, does have the potential, and everything. Rohit Sharma, again, has put in enormous amount of hard yards. Both of them deserve to be part of the Australia series, and I think they will be part of the Australia series. And I also think that if it is only these three games, they wouldn't even have bothered. Both of them. This is not sources. From what I know, they both put in serious amount of effort. Are they going to Australia? If you are asking me that, they are. Beyond Australia, I do see them continuing. I see Virat Kohli certainly continuing for longer. As far as Rohit is concerned, from what I have been made to understand, I don't see imminent retirement. If things change, we will inform you. But if you're asking me what sources say, I absolutely don't think that Rohit and Virat will not travel to Australia, or if there is any politics going on there. I don't see that. I absolutely don't see that.
Okay, Fitmonk is asking what wrong has Sarfaraz. He's injured. He's
Sarfaraz
injured,
is
which is
injured,
why
very clear.
he's not in the squad.
Arnab Bhatt, am I unwell? No, not at all. This is a press conference room. There are multiple other people doing lives from the same room.
So everyone's
So it
talking.
is decency. We are just holding back because, there are multiple people writing their copies, multiple lives happening. All of that stuff is going on from the same room. Sai Sudarshan's name is not there in the tika.
Oh my goodness. There we go.
Apologies. Very much there.
Very much
very
there,
much
yeah.
there. And Tikya,
Huh.
very, very much there, and is the designated number three. Absolutely designated number three. कहाँ है?
ये तो रहा
पे।
लास्ट में है.
वो number three है. वो
ऊपर कर देते हो.
she had missed out, but absolutely designated number three. देख काट के अगर ऊपर डाल सकते
हाँ
हो तो
वही
डाल।
कर रहे हो अभी. अरे यार.
If you were in the selector's shoes, what difference would you have brought in this team? Frankly, not too many differences. Ashok, আমাদের next meeting টা কবে? দুটো. So আমরা 12:30 বেরোলেই হবে তাই না? So we are comfortable. We can do for another 5-7 minutes and then close it up.
Okay, now we've.
Buryada, if you were in the selector's shoes, the call is between Jagadishan and Ishwaran. But I also get it that if I'm making, that is the one call. I do feel Ishwaran has been hard done. If you're giving me the reason that Ishwaran can be flown in, Ishwaran can, there's no tissue, right? There is, right? Or wait, no
No,
tissue.
no.
Tissue nahi na hai. Anyway, Charadeep, don't worry. The point is pretty clear that if Ishwaran has been, with the team for 4 years, and he's been part of the team for 4 years, and all of a sudden he's not even been given an opportunity at the test level, and then kind of ignored. And if I'm being told by the chairman of selectors that, oh, if we need a third opener, we can fly him in. The question that I can counter ask is, if you need a second wicket keeper, you can fly him in. Now the problem here is Gandhi. He can throw it back at me and say, if there is a Rishabh Pant like situation, what happened in England? How do you expect that we don't have a second wicket keeper?
Yeah.
Now I would have countered that saying KL Rahul could have stepped in. Because it's not as if KL Rahul doesn't keep wickets. He does keep wickets in the white ball format, and he has kept wickets in the past. So my answer would have been that why do you need a Narayan Jagadishan?
You can easily have Abhimanyu Iswaran in
Thank
the
you.
team.
That if you can get a Narayan Jagadishan in, you could have had an Abhimanyu Ishwaran in the team. So I would have countered it that way. I understand what he would have said, that if the Rishabh Pant got injured, Dhruv Jurel was there to keep wickets in England, and it happened multiple times. Now, if it happened here, what would you do? If Dhruv Jurel gets injured, that's where Narayan Jagadishan steps in. But my answer would have been KL Rahul, and that way you could have had Ishwaran in the team. But then it was clear that with Shubman Gill and with Yashasvi Jaiswal, there's no chance that Ishwaran would play. Sai Sudarshan is at 3. I think, why don't we do our 11? The 11 is pretty much evident.
KL, Jaiswal, Sai, Shubman,
5 पे कौन खेलेगा? देवदत्त. possibly.
Devdutt Patikal. Number 6, you've got
और 5 पे नीतीश रेड्डी भी खेल सकता है अगर आप उसको खिला सकते हो, because otherwise there is no spot
Isn't
for him
that
in
too
the.
low for Devdutt Patikal then?
No,
Number
Devdutt is
6.
not part of the squad
तो
anymore.
नीतीश
So
कुमार
5 पे हाँ, because that is the only way you can get Nitish into this team. Otherwise आपका इस टीम में जगह नहीं है. 6 पे
Right.
जाडेजा, 6 पे जाडेजा, 7 पे जुरेल,
Yes.
7 पे जुरेल, आपका सिराज and जसप्रीत बुमराह are the 2 fast bowlers.
Yep.
कुलदीप यादव आपका टीम में है, and Washington Sundar. So that's your 11. Washington Sundar can also bat at 6 or whatever. So the only way
6 Jadeja and 7 Washington.
Jurel bhi hai na. Jurel is also there. So that part. So the only way Nitish Kumar Reddy can make this team, it will be one between Nitish Kumar Reddy and this one, Devdutt Patikal. Because you will have to have a Kuldeep Yadav. You have to have Ravindra Jadeja as vice captain, Jasprit Bumrah, Mohammad Siraj, and thereafter you definitely will have a Washington Sundar. So 3 spinners in Kuldeep Yadav, Washington Sundar, and Ravi Jadeja. 2 fast bowlers in these 2 fellows. Now, here's my call. If you want to play Nitish Reddy, why not play Akshar Patel? Because home conditions he's as good a player. Home conditions he's as good a bowler. Home conditions he's as good a batter. So I don't think Nitish Reddy or Devdutt Patikal, if the call is between Devdutt Patikal, Nitish Kumar Reddy and Akshar Patel, I would play Akshar Patel in home conditions. There is no reason why you wouldn't play Akshar Patel. So that's what I would say. What are these guys saying? Some channels were spreading rumors. What is the rumor? About Gill resting for this series. Who said so? Who said so? Yeah? I mean, we've been continuously saying there's no chance of Gill resting for this series. I don't know. Who said this? There's one super chat. I think ये ले लो.
One second. ये तो अच्छा ले लो. Big Boy Toys is saying, whatever media manager says, Bradman in tests and Kohli in ODIs are at par. That's the main question. Kohli for Australia and beyond, he deserves. But what's Ajit's plan?
I don't think the media manager has any business commenting on the quality of Kohli. That's not his brief. So he doesn't say anything. And Maulin Parikh is very professional and knows what his job is. As far as you are concerned, Bradman in tests and Kohli in ODIs, that's your decision. So you're basically saying, giving an opinion here. Absolutely okay. Virat is certainly one of the greatest, but if not the greatest, that debate will continue. And obviously, you can understand who I'm bringing in. I'm bringing in Sachin. So that debate can continue forever. Having said that, Virat is one of the greatest for sure. Will he go to Australia? 100% he will. Will he play beyond that? I don't think the media manager or Ajit or anyone will have a say if Virat continues to perform. It will be Virat's terms. If Virat wants to play on, had Virat wanted to play on in the Test series in England, he would have played on his terms. He retired. India did not. Ajit's selection committee did not ask him to leave. So if you think Australia and beyond, if Virat wants to continue, nobody, and he keeps performing. Nobody can ask him to leave or ask him to retire or any such thing. So that's not happening. Is there practice session today, Abhishek Yadav? No, there is no practice session. और 2 मिनट में खत्म
हाँ
करेंगे.
जी.
Park have 6 left-handers. क्या बोल रहे? Do you in mind? Don't you think
That
Arshdeep is better than Aksar? No, I don't. I don't. Aksar bowled very well against Pakistan, and I don't think Arshdeep looked the very best in that one match against Oman. In a final against Pakistan, you don't experiment. That is if Pakistan makes the final. You are assuming that Pakistan will beat Bangladesh and make the final. I'm not assuming that. Once that happens, we will get past. But if that happens, I absolutely don't think that Aksar is any less. Aksar in home conditions. I want to see Aksar Patel in this team. My 11: KL Rahul, Yashasvi Jaiswal, Sai Sudarshan, Shubman Gill, Washington Sundar, Aksar Patel. 6, Dhruv Jurel 7, or sorry, Washington Sundar 5, Aksar Patel, Ravindra Jadeja 6, 7, Dhruv Jurel 8, Jasprit Bumrah 9, Kuldeep Yadav 10, Mohammad Siraj 11. That's my team for the home test. I do not see Devdutt Padikkal making it because I think Aksar Patel in home conditions is an absolute giant. He doesn't get his due, but he does play. Rishabh Pant,
under the radar.
he flies under the radar. Rishabh Pant is close to full fitness. I'm very sure he will be back for the South Africa series, which is when he's needed. West Indies, I don't think Rishabh will be needed. India should be able to brush off West Indies and win confidently. Having said that, every test match under the WTC cycle is important, and we will have to win every test match at home to make sure that we are in control of making the WTC final. Shall we end here?
Absolutely. On that note, we'll be back at 5.
Yeah.
So don't forget to join us then. We'll be live once again. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget